Um, Mr. Jaitley was diabetic. He was considered as the chief troubleshooter for Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his first term in office. He also had held other portfolios like Defence Ministry besides Finance for a short stint. It is because of his ill health that he did not contest the Lok Sabha elections earlier this year and requested the Prime Minister to not include him in his new cabinet. Let's go over to Sunil Prabhu, who joins us now. Sunil, it's very, very unfortunate news. Mr. Jaitley is no more. He had been ill. He had been keeping ill. He had been taken to the hospital on the 9th of August, and he had a lot of many senior leaders had been visiting him at the hospital.
Yes, in fact, it's an extremely sad day for the BJP and in particular India. One of the government's biggest and most important troubleshooter is no more. Mr. Arun Jaitley, who was India's Finance Minister, as well as the Law Minister. He's held important portfolios. He's also been the Defence Minister. Played a pivotal role in getting the BJP-led government to power in 2014. He's, of course, a person who, as I said, was a troubleshooter, had friends across party lines, a great human being, and it's with great sadness for the BJP and for the party and the people of this country that they've lost a good administrator, a person who, as I said, had friends across. He had a certain sophistication which will be dearly missed in this present government. It's really sad that both, his other colleague just passed away recently, Sushma Swaraj. Both had undergone kidney transplants, and subsequently Mr. Arun Jaitley had certain health issues,
right,
for which he was taken to America for treatment, and he really never recovered properly after that. Despite all his best efforts, he took those decisions of going ahead for kidney transplant and surgeries, but ultimately he's no more.
Right,
and
Sunil.
as I said, it's a great loss for not only the country, for the party, but for us in the media. He was a person, a one-man shop, to give us various viewpoints on this entire issue.
Sunil, he indeed was BJP's man for all seasons. He was a legal, and also, all of us would look forward to his blogs when he would talk at length about the economic matters being faced by the country. Let's go over to Srinivasan Jain for more. Srinivasan, he was really the chief strategist for the BJP, and he was, he had an interest in multiple areas. He was interested in cricket, he's been the finance minister, he held defense and finance.
That's right, yes. Mr. Jaitley was a man of many paths, and as Sunil was mentioning, he was somebody who was both a strategist, but also he had the ability to reach across the aisle and have equations with all political parties, and that was something which was a very important skill set, particularly in these politically polarized times.
Right.
So I think his counsel, his presence is something that will be missed by the BJP, by this government. But let's also acknowledge the fact that he'd been out of action now for the past almost 5 to 6 months. Ill health had ensured that even towards the end of Modi 1.0, Mr. Jaitley was increasingly out of the public limelight. He would largely communicate through his blogs. He had to step down as finance minister, and he also opted to stay out of Modi 2.0. So in a sense, the government and the BJP had already perhaps, in a sense, accepted or acknowledged the fact that he would no longer be around in his earlier avatar. But all in all, yes, a loss to the BJP and a loss also to the Indian political spectrum.
Like Srinivasan, it really seems like an end of an era, really, for the BJP, because, Minister Sushma Swaraj also passed away just shortly, and now it is Arun Jaitley. It really seems like an end of an era for the BJP. The old guard is not there anymore.
Yes, that's right. It was just a few weeks ago that we had another high-profile bereavement for the BJP at the All India Medical of Institute Sciences, and now the turn of Mr. Jaitley. So there have been a number of BJP leaders of a certain generation, particularly what was called the Delhi 3 or the Delhi 4, the leaders that really made up the sort of national face of the BJP.
Right.
Pramod Mahajan, who the BJP lost several years ago, now Sushma Swaraj gone, and now Mr. Jaitley gone as well. Venkaiah Naidu is now vice president, so he's no longer in active politics. So in a sense, it's a whole transition of an era of leaders who are seen as close to Mr. L.K. Advani, who was part of the BJP's national bench strength. Remember, Anand Kumar, also part of that same group. He also was tragically lost to cancer a short while ago. So yes, this is going to be, in a sense, a BJP whose ranks of national leaders of a certain vintage depleted, and in a sense, one can see that shift now as well in terms of the current leadership of the BJP, a break very much from the past. But in a sense, it's important also to have had those leaders from the earlier generation because of the deep equations they had across the political spectrum. People like Sushma Swaraj, people like Mr. Jaitley, and so their presence will indeed be missed.
Right. Thank you very much, Srinivasan Jain. Let's go over to Rakesh Sinha, who is Rajya Sabha member. Rakesh Sinha ji, a very, very unfortunate news that Jaitley ji is no more. It is a huge loss for the BJP and for the nation as well. He was really an astute politician. As Srinivasan was just pointing out, that he had very good relations across party lines and everybody really was very fond of him.
He was one of best jewels of Indian parliamentary democracy. India has lost the brightest politician of the country. You know, despite being a part of a particular ideology and organization, he was one of the persons whose connectivity with people of other political parties, other strata, is uniquely registered in Indian society. And he would be inspiration for the posterity, particularly in politics, that he has always been above the sectarianism. Secondly, most important thing that he was a disciplined and dedicated cadre of the ideology. I am giving one example which is very rarely known to the people. When Janata Party government was formed in 1977 after the emergency, historically Janata Party was formed. That was it was a prestigious for anybody to be part of the national executive of the Janata Party. Janata Party was formed by the merger of the four major political parties of the country: Jana Sangh, Socialist, Congress, O, and Lok Dal. And when Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad suggested him not to be part of the national executive because the ABP kept itself from politics, he immediately resigned from the Janata Party.
Yes.
He was additional Solicitor General during Vishwanath Pratap Singh government. When the crisis was there, he resigned. Therefore, I consider him that besides being a politician and an intellectual, he has also connected with the media largely. He is also distinctly known for friendly relationship with the media and giving importance to the fourth estate and recognizing the significance of the fourth estate in parliamentary democracy.
Right. Thank you very much, Rakesh Singh. Like I said, very, very unfortunate news that Arun Jaitley is no more. Let's go over to Milind Deora now. Mr. Deora, as Rakesh Sinha ji was pointing out just now, Mr. Jaitley really knew how to bring parties together and build consensus, which is a skill that is most required in the times that we live in. You know, he had ideological or political rivals, but he was also friends across party lines. It is very unfortunate that he is no more.
Well, absolutely. And I had actually a very close personal relationship with him. He was a very dear family friend. And I've said this many a time publicly that he was almost like a mentor of sorts to me, and I had the good fortune, in spite of being from a different political party, to have been guided, mentored by him even before my political career began, throughout the time that I was in Parliament after I lost the election. And he was truly unique in that sense, and he was an excellent parliamentarian, without a doubt one of India's greatest legal minds. And I think he'll be they don't make people like him anymore, in the sense that he had a unique ability to charm people from the opposition, from different parties, with his wit, with his warmth. And you're absolutely right that he had the the ability which very few politicians in India have today to really bring people together. And I always say leadership is not about choosing sides, it's about bringing sides together. And he, in that sense, was a true leader.
Well, I've also had an interaction with him on a few occasions, and he was always very, very warm and very genuine, and always wanted to teach more and talk about his thoughts.